Hello, this is Susan from S.A. Mitchell Creations, and today we're going to hem a pair of jeans, keeping the original hem. This pair is from my friend. She's already tried them on, put the clip where she wants the length to be, and what we now need to do is measure from the cuff, the original cuff, down to where she put the clip, and we're going to divide that number in half. In this case, we have 4 3/4 inches. And what we want to do is maneuver this so it's half that measurement. If your original number is 2 inches, then you'd like to have 1 inch here. I'm focusing particularly on the back of the jeans. I'm just going to pause the video so I can find the proper number here. Okay, so my original hem measurement that she folded up was 4 3/4 inches. So half of that I'm measuring at 2 3/8. I put my clip here. And many people don't do the next step. I like to is on the front of the jeans, this was the back. On the front, I pull it up an extra ½ inch. I just don't like the way a lot of jeans sit on the top of my boot or my running shoe. And so I just bring this up ½ inch. It's not enough to really notice. And then what you'll notice is if you just pull gently, you'll notice how it just kind of gradually gets bigger and smaller again on the other side. So I'm just going to clip. There's no measuring really needed as long as it's a nice smooth evenness. And then I'll do the same thing over here. Now, what we're going to do next is turn the pant leg inside out. It really comes down to the type of machine, I should say. I don't have a removable piece that I can put my pant leg around. Many machines do. In that case, you could probably keep your pant leg like this and slide it over that arm. And what you're going to do is sew right in this edge. For myself, I turn mine inside out, just so I can get the machine foot in a little easier. And what I like to do is I like to usually start on a seam. And then what we're going to do like I said, you're going to sew right in the crevice here. You want to line up the existing, I don't know if you can see that, the existing seam. See how this edge is here? You want to line that up so that where you sew, don't line it up here, line it up down where your stitch is going to be. And you can pin that or adjust it and then put your needle down once it's under your machine. And once it's there, then you can start stitching. Now, just give me 1 minute and I'll go to my machine. Okay, I'm at my machine now. And like I said, I don't have a removable piece off my machine to give myself an arm to put the pant leg around. I've lined up my seams. And I sew at about stitch 3. You can just use any type of thread for like polyester, cotton, whatnot. And you will want, however, a matching color so you don't see it. So I have a nice dark blue and a needle. You can get jean needles or like a lightweight leather needle, something that will go through the fabric nice. And so I'm going to, okay, so I'm positioning my needle where I like it. My foot is down. I like to use a walking foot because it can be bulky over the edges. You can use most anything as long as it glides nice. You could probably even use a zipper foot and keep it on the side, move your needle in that direction. So what I'm going to do is just take a couple stitches forward, a couple stitch back, and then just get over the seam. And whenever I let go, I have my needle in the down position. Now always make sure your cuff is sitting nice and flat for the measurements that you kept. And just stay as close as possible to that original seam without going over. Hopefully you can see there. This doesn't have to be perfect. So once this is sewn here, I'm just going to turn my pant leg back. You'll have this little piece here. Some people cut it off, zigzag or serge it. I always just keep mine on. If you get too close, sometimes it's hard to keep this piece down. So I just keep it on and finger press and just train it with a new seam or a new crease in it. And then what I do is on each side of the pant leg where the seam is, I just sew up that seam. And what that does is on the inside, that holds that down. And so it will be attached on both sides right up to the top. And then you don't see any lines across the top or anywhere else. And I do it from the top so I can see exactly where I'm stitching. Needle down, a couple of stitches back. There's also a foot, I think it's called stitch in the ditch, or maybe that's a method, but there's a foot that basically will guide you as well, but you don't need all the fancy feet to do everything. So I've just sewn that down. You can't see the stitches. And on the inside, you can see now that this is attached. And it shouldn't flop down that way, especially after you wash it and just finger press really well. So up close, you can kind of see that it's been hemmed. But once you put them on and start wearing them, nobody notices. I mean, you're 3-4 feet away from looking at it. So it's a very nice practical way. So I'm just going to sew now the other one. Doesn't really matter on the inside where it lines up, as long as you're hiding your stitch in the seam. Needle up, and there you go. So that's just a quick overview on how to hem a pair of jeans.